With rumors of a new era in the well-known Wizarding World franchise, Potter fans are growing restless. Additionally, there have been numerous rumors of a future Harry Potter spin-off series. There are so many ways this might go. So what do the talks and directions mean? In this video, let's find out. But first, be sure to like the video and subscribe. We wouldn't want you to miss out on any of our upcoming content. Firstly, why are the rumors of a Harry Potter TV series swirling? It would be no surprise if the rumors were accurate, and Warner Brothers jumped at the chance to make a spin-off TV series. However, original movie fans might only be happy if it were to succeed in any manner. The news is released as the third Fantastic Beasts film in the series appears to have lost some of its charms, maybe due to Johnny Depp's departure from the role of Grindelwald, or because it failed to live up to the first two installments. With rumors of a new era in the well-known Wizarding World franchise, Potter fans are growing restless. Will Harry Potter then follow in the footsteps of companies like Disney, which has produced several hugely successful TV spin-off series based on its Star Wars and Marvel film franchises? According to one insider, the Potter spin-off is being talked about as reality by people who work for HBO. Meanwhile, rumors are flying in Hollywood that Rowling is considering starting a second Potter movie series. Let's now find out the ideas for the show's potential themes. Up next, why are fans divided? Because of Rowling's transphobic attitudes and the unimpressive quality of her most recent Potter-related work, many fans have begun separating her from the stories she penned by applying Roland Barthes' philosophical idea of the death of the author to Harry Potter. Most Potterheads think that the Fantastic Beasts movies have been questionable at best, save for the endearing hero Newt Scamander, and that Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, a play set years after the conclusion of the original Harry Potter books, was an AU fanfiction that shouldn't have been published. Fans are now divided over whether they want another series that would harm the Potterverse even more. Even if HBO Max were successful in keeping JK, should we encourage Rowling out of it to avoid a PR nightmare? Or should we welcome a new show as long as it's good? Say a Potter series is approved. Although executives have disputed the allegations, it's not challenging to picture Harry Potter appearing on television in some capacity, given that platforms of all types scramble to screen as many popular franchise series as possible. Here are a few probable concepts for the show or show's potential themes. So, how the Marauders theme will be. The Marauders, who came up with the idea for the Marauders map, include Lily Evans, James Potter, Sirius Black, Remus Lupin, and Peter Pettigrew. They were buddies at Hogwarts when these characters were Harry's age, and many Harry Potter fans adore them, so they would be an easy sell for a TV show. I'm worried that any Marauders television series made by Hollywood will devolve into a dreary love triangle in which James, the popular jock, denies Lily the love of Severus's life, utterly taking away Lily's agency. Then there's the issue of Wolfstar, the love partnership that suggests both Remus and Sirius are at least bisexual, being nearly generally accepted by the fandom. We find it difficult to imagine good old Joanne Rowling supporting this, especially because she has a history of refusing to include queer characters in her books or films. So no, I will only hold out hope for a Marauders program once fanfiction.net user Jules5 serves as showrunner. Instead of being destroyed by new canon, let them flourish endlessly in fanon. Up next, what's exciting will be in the Founders theme. The history of Hogwarts origins is vibrant. It's not simply that the names Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin sound good together in a history book. Were those even their real names? Did they choose them for themselves, or were they altered throughout history by a scribe with a penchant for poetry? The four founders, who were once youngsters like the main characters in the Harry Potter books, were honest, breathing humans. How did they first meet? What sort of personalities did they indeed have? How did they decide to establish a school? How was Hogwarts created entirely from scratch? Why did they start fighting with one another? There are several questions that fans have been yearning to get answered. So what would it be like to have a sitcom based around Professor Neville Longbottom? There are enough historical dramas already. Let's move forward and consider how wonderful it would be to have a sitcom exclusively based around Neville Longbottom, our underdog hero, now a professor of herbology at Hogwarts. Poor Neville, currently the head of Gryffindor House, never anticipated having to complete so much paperwork when all he wanted to do was be around plants. Imagine Neville having trouble interacting with Gen Z kids. Even purebloods have picked up some tips from Muggleborns and are far more digitally savvy than he is. We would follow Professor Longbottom for a year before any of the Potter Weasley children arrived at Hogwarts. Although Neville would periodically write about his renowned classmates and acquaintances, we would never see them on TV. Up next, how Tom Marvolo Riddle at Hogwarts will be. Everyone watching a hypothetical spin-off of Tom Riddle's youth would know that he'll one day grow up as the most powerful dark wizard in history. So naturally, audiences love a doomed figure. But for those who enjoy villain stories, it might be riveting to witness little Tom slowly transform into Voldemort. Voldemort was essentially plotting a genocide, albeit I'm not saying he's a morally dubious person. There's much to learn about Tom's life before he became Voldemort, since we only have limited information about it. So, what will Harry Potter and the intervening years be based on? In Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, this show would occur between the pivotal Battle of Hogwarts and the epilogue chapter 19 years later. So naturally, a lot of fans would be thrilled about this. I remember boisterous meals at the Weasleys' home, Quidditch games played in courtyards, leisurely evenings at Grimmauld Place, protracted wizard chess matches, Ginny becoming a professional chaser, Harry getting back in touch with Dudley, and Hermione traveling to Australia to look for her parents. Additionally, we would watch how each romantic connection in Deathly Hallows' epilogue progressively grows and matures. It would be necessary for the show to have an entirely new cast, which I know would only be acceptable to some viewers. As we watch our heroes enjoy the tranquility that follows Voldemort's fall, we might also pursue a new villain, perhaps a former Death Eater who has returned to their old ways and is determined to rule the UK. Can you picture it? As our heroes make adult decisions, fall in love, and for the first time in their life, have options and free time to enjoy being young, we get to witness them gently recover from the traumas of the war. Up next, what's there about the screen adaptation of Star Kids' A Harry Potter musical theme? We need more musicals, and Harry Potter parodies are required. The musical was created in 2009 by 3 college students named Star Kid as a parody stage adaptation of the Harry Potter books. A Harry Potter musical is something you must watch right now for me if you haven't heard of it. Before he became well known for his role on Glee, Darren Criss, who composed the music and lyrics, also acted as Harry in this musical. The rights status for a Harry Potter musical is unclear because it's a groundbreaking fan initiative, but who's to say Warner Brothers couldn't collaborate with Star Kid and produce it as a television movie? Up next, how will the Grand Potters theme excite its viewers? Fleamont and Euphemia were ancient by the time James was born. Still, we don't know how old they were, so this prequel could take place against any critical Wizarding World events of the previous century. Fleamont was a pureblood wizard whose father, Henry, sat on the Wisengamot. Still, he probably didn't think much of pureblood culture. Very little is known about them, but as Harry's grandparents, fans would probably feel compelled to watch their story. He opted not to follow in his father's footsteps and pursue a political career, becoming an entrepreneur and creating Sleek Easy's hair potion. If HBO Max doesn't adapt the love story between James and Lily, they might show us what happened between his parents. Lastly, what do you need to know about the magical Gilderoy theme? It might be an anthology in which Gilderoy narrates tales of his false travels while reading passages from his numerous best-selling novels. Gilderoy Lockhart was a typical half-blood Ravenclaw student before he rose to fame and became one of the worst defense against the dark arts instructors Hogwarts has ever had, which is saying something. Even a cameo by a young Lily Evans and James Potter might be acceptable if they were assigning Gilderoy Lockhart, a third-year student, to detention because he somehow manages to divert everyone's Valentine's Day love letters to himself. Perhaps without realizing it, he's simply rereading them from his hospital bed at St. Mungo. Even as a teenager, he must have caused his fair share of problems because his ego had no limitations. How do you feel about these ideas? Do any of them catch your attention? Do you have any additional characters or historical periods you'd like to see covered in further depth? Let us know in the comments section. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, guys. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.